Hey Sagittarius, Sagittarius rising, sun, and moon. Let's get into your August horoscope. So, August is about Sagittarius. Ask yourself truly, what do you believe in? What are you fighting for? Who are you fighting for? And who's really walking with you towards that vision? The cosmos, is asking you to truly grow up, to show up for what you believe in, to redefine your mission publicly. This month is about truth in action. August 6th, Mars is going to be moving into Libra, which is your 11th house of, social events, future goals, collaborations, community. A lot when Mars is in the 11th house, and it doesn't have to work as a solo warrior as Mars would like to, it becomes this revolutionary Mars. It gets you fired up about things that are going on and who's in your team. Definitely become aware of people who are not your allies anymore, right? And not all people are aligned to you either, and not all plans are as sustainable anymore. You can expect group dynamics to heat up, old friends starting to become competitors, these future plans needing immediate action. You're questioning whether your audience still resonate with you, and this is where you realize that if it's not building the future that you believe in, you are out of there, Sagittarius. On August 9th, Mars is going to be opposing Saturn and Neptune in um, Aries, and this is going to hit your 11th and your 5th house. It's like your creativity versus your commitments. You want to go big with your ideas and make an impact in your network, make an impact on the world, but it's something bigger being tested. I think your inner child, your joy, even your romances, your authenticity, your voice, your expression, those things may feel stuck. You can feel stuck between duty, between inspiration, burnt out from performing for approval, and just unsure about your creations, like if they even matter anymore. This is definitely all having to do with Saturn is saying, like, get real about what you are saying, what you are believing. You have to be very authentic. You can't be a performer. Neptune is saying get clear about it. Mars is saying get moving, but it has to be with a purpose. Is this really creating, or is this just me trying to be light? So also on August 9th, the full moon is going to be in Aquarius, and it's going to be lighting up your third house of communication and siblings, contracts, your immediate environment, your mind, and something wraps up or gets exposed around here. There can be a conversation or news that you find out. There can be a speaking project, writing project, a learning, teaching situation that you're in. But boundaries with your local environment, or even a sibling, you have to make these boundaries. Boundaries are very necessary for you, Sagittarius. And this moon is really asking, or really getting you to have a lot of mental clarity. Even if it may sting, you can be a little bit detached. Words definitely do have consequences, and your words, their words, everyone's words. And so if it's not true, don't say it. And even if it's something popular, you know what I'm saying, say what's true. um okay. And then on August 11th, Mercury is going to be going direct in Leo, and this is you're going to be transiting your natal ninth house. Well, it's in your natal ninth house, and it's going direct finally. So it's traveling. The ninth house is about traveling. It's about philosophy. It's about publishing. It's about education. And after weeks, of confusion, delays, seeing the big picture, you finally regain direction, and you feel more clear about your beliefs. You're ready to move forward on a course. You're ready to move forward on a trip. You can travel. You're ready to launch something, even a class, and you're more willing to own your truth in a public way, and the spiritual priestess way that you are, Sagittarius. And you're speaking from wisdom, not just reaction. On August 12th, Venus is going to be conjuncting Jupiter in Cancer. This is a really gorgeous, beautiful conjunction that you have going on within your natal eighth house of intimacy, shared resources, transformation, and this is a deep expansion that is possible now. This can be emotionally, this can be sexually, this can be financially, but you've got to be brave enough to go there. This can look like healing an old trauma around money, around being vulnerable, receiving a gift, an offer that feels very faded. This is you beginning a soul contract or something deep with a partnership. Businesses can merge. Definitely there can be some overspending, over compromising, escaping even through pressure, but this is definitely deep because this is a eighth house, so it's like water deep, right? Because it's not surface level. You definitely have to dive in with intention, Sagittarius. And on August 22nd, the sun is going to move into Virgo, and this is like highlighting your natal 10th house of your career, your reputation, legacy, leadership. And now it's showing what you have built, what you're becoming, what you learn. And people are watching. The question is, do you really want to be seen for who you are, or the role that you used to play? You have in this house, you have to step into mastery, especially when the sun is in this house. That's a pretty grand, transit, because you're stepping into who you are. The sun is the soul, it's our radiance, our essence, being who you are. And it's also the house of like mastery. So it's self mastery that must be shown to others. Strategize if you need to, because it's definitely in Virgo. But take responsibility for your visibility and who you are, becoming Sagittarius. There's also going to be a new moon in Virgo in the 10th house. This is a great, because this is a clean slate for, a clean slate that you're wiping for career, re-intention, right? You could be redoing something that has to do with your career. You could be launching a new business, a new role, a new project, and you're just shedding these old titles or these old expectations that people have for you, letting go of all the criticism, all the nitpicking. And it's definitely a harvest. It's a harvest time, harvest season for you. And whatever seed you plant here will grow within the next 6 months, but it has to be built from integrity, Sagittarius, okay? On August 25th, Venus is going to be entering into Leo, and Venus is moving through your natal ninth house of wisdom, of your higher self, of your belief system, of these themes that have to do with, the global, like religion and publishing and things of that nature. And you are magnetic here. The Venus in Leo is definitely magnetic, because you're becoming more expensive. People are drawn to your world view, your story. You're being unapologetic too. Your fire is lit. This isn't where you're faking it till you make it anymore. This is, I lived it and now I can teach it. It's letting your confidence be rooted in lived experiences. I that's actually, I love that for you, Sagittarius. That's truly what I believe in as well. You can teach others by living through experience. It's one thing to teach others from like information, but teaching others through, things that you've been through, things that you felt, things that you've encountered, that's just a whole type of soul teaching. I love that, Sagittarius. And this month really is activating your vision, your voice, your values even. And you're gonna be tested on, are you living what you preach? This is definitely a slight timeline shift for you, Sagittarius, and not everyone is going to be coming with you, right? And that's not a loss for you, Sagittarius, because you are building a future from the soul. You are building a future, with a fire that has already been lit in you. It's no more potential. I don't have potential for this, or you're saying that as well. It's just power, it's live, and it's embodied truth. It's definitely public as well, Sagittarius. So yes, that's definitely divine and precise. That's all I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Sagittarius.